Alright, so before this video starts, I'd just like to say that if you enjoy this type of content and you wish to see more, you can always support me by subscribing and leaving a like, commenting down below. I appreciate every single one of you guys. It's super awesome that you guys are enjoying my content. So also, if you'd like to further support me, you can check out my Patreon, which is linked down below, and my link to my website, which has my Instagram, Twitter, and yeah, so you can shoot me a message. Always try to reply to every single one of you guys. But let's get back to the video. Hello Internet, I'm the Render Mystic, and today I'm going to be showing you how to camera match and also how to put 3D objects into any image within Blender. Well, I guess not entirely inside of Blender, because the first step for this tutorial will be you have to download this software called FSSpy. So you just type in fsspy.io and it'll bring you to this website here. And all you have to do is hit download and come down here and get the add-on. It should bring you to like GitHub. And to install that, all you have to do is hop inside Blender and go into the edit and then preferences, and you'll go into the add-ons, hit install, search for the zip file, and then click on it, and it should be installed then, and then just enable it. Once that's enabled, we'll be good to go. Alright, so once you have that downloaded and installed into Blender, what we're going to do is drag and drop our image into FSSpy, the software. For this, I'm going to be using an HDRI that I got off HDRI Haven. You don't really need to do that. However, it helps matching the lighting later on in Blender. But yeah, if you don't have an HDRI, it's fine. You can just match the lighting manually in Blender. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and drag that in. And once you drag it in, you should have a bunch of lines all over the place. And it looks a little conjumbled and shit. So all we're going to do is basically map out and match the camera inside this scene here. So right now it doesn't really know what it's doing, but you can see we have the y-axis and the x-axis. What we're actually going to do here with the y-axis is come over here to the left side where it has the y-axis, and we're going to go ahead and change that to the z-axis so that we can tell the z-axis where that is. Because it doesn't really matter if it's the x-axis or the y-axis, because it's almost like it's still telling you the ground plane. So what we're going to do is go ahead and line up the z-axis at the edge of this. So that's obviously the up and down. So we're just going to go ahead and maybe go over here and pull that like that along the sides, so it should be parallel to the other Z line. And then we're going to go ahead and grab the x-axis and drag this down. Try and find if there is inside your image like a straight line. Like I'm sort of just lining it up against this rock here, if you can see that. You know, it doesn't really matter where the lines are per se, as long as they're completely like parallel to each other or perpendicular, just so that you know, inside Blender it knows which orientation your camera is. Because for now you can see our gizmo here is going like this, so it's basically saying this is floor and that's sky. So that's all you really need, because if you think about it, as long as the gizmo's not telling the floor to sort of be like upside down here, then I mean you're good to go. So yeah, very simple here, very easy. All we have to do now is hop over to the left hand side here and throw on the grid. So you can see immediately now, like it's already basically mapped to the floor here. I was just saying if the grid was, you know, up and down or flipped around facing like that way, then obviously that would not be usable. So as long as you have this and it's looking good, you're good to go. So to export this, all you have to do is go up to File and then Save As. And we're going to go ahead and save this. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and save it inside my HDRI folder just for this tutorial. We're just going to call it Test Tutorial. Yeah, whatever. So once that's saved, go ahead and open up Blender. So now that we have Blender open, we can go ahead and go up to File and then Import. And if you put on the add-on correctly, there should be a tab for FS Spy. Go to wherever your exported FS Spy file is and click on that and hit Import. And now you can see that we have our background image loaded in here, and also we have a camera matching that scene. So you can actually delete your original stuff that comes with Blender, because you don't need it for this tutorial, because it'll make a camera for you. And obviously we're using the HDRI for the lighting, so yeah, we're pretty much set up on that. So the next thing we're going to do to make sure that this is going to match the lighting in the scene, because right now the HDRI is not loaded in, we're going to hop over to our shading tab. Okay, so once you open up your shading tab, what you're going to do is change this object to world mode. And I forgot to record this part, so I already deleted the original world output settings. So it should just say background here. Go ahead and delete that. And what you're going to do is hit Shift A or add and then search for an environment texture. So bring that in and then go ahead and open up your HDRI. So if you don't have an HDRI or you didn't create one, you can just skip this step. However, I would highly suggest maybe looking on HDRI Haven for a free HDRI that matches your scene lighting, just so you can get a better environmental lighting. So we're going to connect the color to surface. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and connect that to surface, and once that's connected, it should be good to go. So another thing you can do is if you go up here to, it should say your camera and then whatever you named your file. We're going to go to the camera, and we're going to go to the background images and then change the opacity all the way up. So now you can see that this is our image, and yeah, it's not transparent anymore, so it's a little easier to see. And next thing to do is actually just start adding in a plane. So go ahead and add your plane in, and we can see that it's lined up with the ground pretty nicely. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, because you can always, you know, just go like this and realign it and stuff. So if we hop out of here, we can actually move this back a little bit, and then yeah, there we go. Now it looks a little bit better. Maybe scale it up here and go back out of here, just make it a little bit bigger. So go ahead and import your object or your 3D model. So one important thing to remember if we want this plane to become a shadow catcher, which basically means it projects the background and also catches the shadows, is we have to actually do this in cycles. So if this is glitching a little bit, sorry about that. If my recording is glitching a little bit, it's just because cycles does sometimes bog down the recording software. So anyways, I'm gonna actually lower the sample rate in the viewport just so it may dampen that effect, and also add adaptive sampling. So what we have to do here is just go ahead and click on the plane, and we're gonna hop over to object properties and then visibility, and turn this into a shadow catcher. Just tick that on, and there we go. Now it is projecting the background here, as you can see, and it's also gonna catch the shadows for us. So next thing we can do, if we hop out of here, I'm just gonna hop into this mode really quickly, just so you know it doesn't mess with the recording. I'm just gonna move back this plane here so we have a little bit more room for the shadow to get caught, and maybe make this just in general a little larger, and that should be pretty good there. Now another thing you can do if this isn't if this HDRI isn't matching up with the lighting here, is we can actually add a texture coordinate to the HDRI, so that way we can change where the actual like sunlight is coming from. For this case, I do believe that it is matched. Okay, so I'm pretty sure it is matched. If we zoomed all the way out, it would be pretty much where this is. I think there's a little bit of light coming here. So the way we're going to do that is we hop back into the shading tab and we click on our environment texture or HDRI and hit Control and T. Then we get a coordinate node or a mapping node. So what we can do with that is if we hop into our camera view and we go to rendered, we can see that if we decide to change the location, you can see it affects the way that this is lit. So if you can see in this photo, most of this is actually just in the shade here, so there really shouldn't be any direct lighting on this, like you can see that on the side here, except for maybe this side should be lit more than this side, and you can see right now this side's lit more than this side. So we're gonna try and get a little bit of bouncing light onto this side of the object. Okay, so once you are satisfied with how that's looking, now it's time to render out our image. So a big thing to remember, if we're going to render this out, we have to set this HDRI to transparent. That way it doesn't show up in the render. So we come over here and we hit the film tab and then we hit transparent. Now we can no longer see that in the background and it is just our image. So this is looking pretty cool. And we're just going to go ahead and hit render and see how it looks. So now that that is rendered, you may be thinking, hey, Render Mystic, you just cheat me out of my money almost. No, I did not, because there's no background, but we're gonna add the background, so don't worry. Yeah, so it took like 10 minutes to render, so just be wary of that, you know. If you're using HDRI and high quality textures, it will take a little bit. I also forgot to bring the floor a little bit forward enough, but just don't make the mistake in your render. So anyways, we're gonna come over to the compositing tab, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull over another screen here and pop this into image editor, and we're gonna pull up the render result. So you can see we have our render result here, and we're gonna click use nodes because we are using nodes, and we're gonna go ahead and detach this for right now. And we're gonna bring in, so Shift A, we're gonna bring in a alpha over, so we need that obviously. Basically just mixes the images together, and then we're gonna bring in the original image. So go ahead and grab an image texture, plop that down there. Go ahead and open up the image texture. So that'll be the original texture, not the HDRI. And what we need to do here is basically plug in the original image to the top and then the render to the bottom, and plug that into the result. And you can see that now it's composited into the scene. And there's a little bit of noise going on here just because, you know, this is how do you say it? I rendered it on like lower sample rate, so what we're gonna do actually is add a denoise effect. So you can do this on yours too. Just go ahead and add in a denoise and plop that bad boy in here. And yeah, alright guys, so I know I said put the denoise over here, but actually you want to throw it just in front of the render itself, the object. I mean, it doesn't matter, you can put it here. Just for this tutorial, I'm throwing it here in front of the object, but you can see there's a massive difference now with the pixelation and the noise and stuff. So once that's thrown on there, yeah, this is looking pretty good, so I think we'll leave it at that, you know. It's pretty much, you can do all your color editing and stuff in here if you'd like, but for this tutorial I think that's perfect where it's at right there. So yeah, if you want to go ahead and save this image, you just go up here to image and then you hit save as. So awesome. Yeah, so if you guys enjoyed this video, I appreciate you guys. You can go ahead and subscribe, leave a like, comment. Always helps with the algorithm. It's greatly appreciated by me. You can go ahead and check out my Patreon if you wish to further support me, and also my website, which has links to my NFT artwork. It has links to my Instagram, Twitter. You can shoot me a message, all that. So yeah, thank you guys very much, and I'll see you in the next video.